Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's CNCF TAG Environmental Sustainability Meeting. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of November. And please be aware that this is a community meeting, so it falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which can be summarized to be just great, awesome to each other. The link to the meeting notes are already in chat. So please add yourself to attendees list. And with that, we are the week after KubeCon. So we have probably a lot of new attendees. Already see quite a few new attendees in this meeting. So if you like, you can unmute yourself and just say a few words about yourself, introduce yourself if you like.
Hi. If you can hear me, I came to the TAG sustainability meeting. I think I talked to Marlo about joining the comms working group, so I thought I would come to this one first. My name's Claire. I work as a site reliability engineer for a company called Pexit. I'm really excited to help out.
Welcome.
Hi, I can go ahead and introduce myself. Sorry, I am not camera ready this morning. But my name is Carby. I'm based out of Chicago, Illinois. I think environmental sustainability has always been like a personal passion of mine and something I really care about. So the fact that there's efforts being made within the cloud native community is really exciting. And after attending KubeCon, and hearing everything, I thought it was really cool and I wanted to get involved. I'm actually very new to cloud native. I'm not even an engineer. But I'm here to just like learn more and see where I can fit in.
Awesome. It's great.
Can I just say something real quick?
Awesome.
Welcome. There's lots of non-engineering work to do here, so don't feel out of place. And if you do want to learn, for instance, how we're automating things, we're also happy to step you through.
Yes, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, just feel free to reach out. But none of us mind. We like people.
Awesome.
Hello? Oh, sorry. Am I too fast? My name is Michael Bolle. I'm working for as solution architect for the Rabobank in the Netherlands. I try to sell to all the developers the cloud native mindset and the thoughts behind it. And I'm recently joined an initiative based on green IT and sustainable IT. So that's why I'm attend.
Awesome. Great to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Hi, I'm Matea. I learned about the work you all are doing from KubeCon, and I've been an SRE for over 10 years now. Have some background in high performance computing and work in a data center work and stuff. So thought maybe I could find a place to help out.
Definitely, 100%.
Oh, and I'm south of Chicago, Carvey, so a couple hours south of you.
That's awesome. Let me know when you're in the city.
Right. Is there somebody else who would like to introduce himself?
Hi, I'm Mark Allen. I'm a oceanographer, but primarily these days I work on building out or helping startups with their infrastructure, primarily Kubernetes. And so I'm looking to help out with being able to understand better ways to utilize computing power and help organizations understand their environmental footprint of the systems that they run.
Awesome. Very interesting. Ocean geographer. Diverse spectrum of backgrounds. It's always great. All right. Somebody else? Otherwise, there's always time also in the next meetings or over chat, over Slack to introduce yourself if you like. Moving on in the agenda to the working groups. So I have 2 working groups right now. The working group comms is quite new. There's a lot of, I think, opportunity to contribute, but also to the other one. Kara or Trisha, would you like to give an update?
Sure, Trisha. I don't know if you had any updates for the last 2 weeks that I've been out, but I don't want to put you on the spot. I can.
So we cancelled last week's because the majority of people were traveling or were in QCOM. So that week was cancelled. The previous week was pretty quiet. So the ARS that came out of that was just to advertise what talks we were in. We were related to in KubeCon, so there was a bit of work there. We created PR and it was put up just in time as well. So all them talks are linked there if anyone wants to go back and have a look at them.
Awesome. And to anyone new, this is a great working group, especially if you want to contribute in a non-coding type of way. We are working on how to get started. There in the tag, there's a blog with that we're going to translate into, not physically not translate, but we're going to put into the contributing guide and making sure that good point, Marlo. Yes, CFPs are due coming up for KubeCon EU, and that is in April. And so one of the things that we are going to be creating as well as a strategy for 2024 and ideally getting ahead of the KubeCons and the Cloud Native Sustainability Week and making sure that we're providing content and visibility to folks about events that are happening. So we are a newly formed working group, and all people are welcome to attend. So tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, I'm not sure what that translates to. I think it's 2 p.m. for Europe, most of Europe. We have our comms working group, and I'll send a reminder out on Slack. And if you haven't joined Slack for environmental sustainability tag, that's where a lot of these reminders, the same with this meeting and the Green Reviews working group meeting.
Right. I think the charter document, maybe we can also link the PR in chat. It's also a good read. So we plan to have also sub-teams. So like a little bit of more structure in the team. So you don't need to work on all comms. If you like, you can just contribute, for example, to reviewing blog posts or planning our presence at the next event, for example. And I think the PR is almost ready. We just need to merge one of the comments and then it's done. So that's great. Are there any questions for working group comms? If not, we can go to the next working group. Nikki?
Before you move on quite yet, could we, if anyone has ideas for blogs, please don't hesitate to reach out and we can help you with those too, because part of the fun of this is generating content. So without community content, right, comms doesn't have anything to talk about.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up. I I had a question around that, but I wasn't sure if this is the right time. I did wrote a blog, and I have two more that I want to write about this. Like, what would you suggest we should do in those cases? Should I send it to you, or how do we want to handle that in terms of content?
If you could pop it into the Slack, just start do it as an issue, or do the new blogs as issue, then and the one that is waiting to be reviewed. Actually, so I'm not sure if Savita is on the call, but she is the one that is handling our blogs. So yeah, just put it in Slack and the issues in Slack, and we will we'll work with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe also one note to this. So we have a process to help folks writing a blog from scratch. So if they maybe a bit new to the field or maybe not used to writing blogs, this is like a larger issue template which you can open. But maybe we need like also like something more lightweight if you already have like the blog post and we just need to review it once. Because I think like this is like also a very common use case. But maybe the working group can talk about details.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Great.
it would be great to see if there's a guidelines or something like that, because I mean, when you're writing a blog for yourself, it's usually more loosely, but when it's more for a tag or in this case, a specific group, yeah, definitely having guidelines will help so we can adapt the content to fit that. And yes, I do have some friends as well on the from the meetups that we run during the sustainability week, and they got very interested on the on supporting. So I'm gonna invite them. The one caveat is that they're mainly Spanish speakers, so I don't know how we want to handle that. So if that's okay, we can also maybe write content in Spanish as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I see no reason not to have content in multiple languages.
There's also currently an issue open to, because the landscape document, we have it in Korean and in English.
Okay.
And we can also have our resources like in different languages, but this depends like on the contribution, on the demand. So if there's like a lot of Spanish speaking folks, then definitely we need resources also in Spanish or in German or whatever language.
Okay. I might post it to help on that side. Cool.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, feel free to link with me later on getting a translation over for the landscape doc.
Are we talking about the landscape doc now? Because it's part of the communications of the comms working group, or do we talk about it later because it is part of our upcoming KubeCon EU thingy?
So about the landscape document, I have down listed here a discussion. Maybe we can just briefly talk about this because we're at this point. So I think or maybe let's move it a little bit later. So let's, if you don't mind, let's first do the working group updates, and then we can jump to the open discussion items, including the landscape document. If that sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Great. All right. Any more comments about comms? Otherwise, Nikki, would you like to give an update about green reviews?
Yeah, so hi everyone. If this is the first time you're hearing about the Green Reviews Working Group, the high level idea is we're the first kind of technical implementation sort of project of the environmental sustainability tag, where we're trying to look at the carbon footprint or the energy usage of CNCF projects. We're doing that through Equinix infrastructure that was donated to the CNCF, so we have credits, and we are building a community cluster to deploy CNCF projects and do a sustainability review inspired by the tag security assessment as well. So we have some links. You can read the charter of the working group and look at the meeting notes as well for more information, or the design doc, which contains more information about what we're working on. And Ross can give an update on the current state of the technical implementation as well.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, on the technical implementation, we're looking mainly at how we can automate the cluster setup. So we want to use a GitOps approach for managing the cluster. And there's 3 parts of that we're looking at, which we'll discuss in more detail in the working group meeting next week. But I've been looking at how we can manage the infrastructure itself. And it looks like we can use OpenTofu there with GitHub Actions. And then we need to provision Kubernetes itself within the cluster. And we're looking at maybe using K3S there or kubeadm. Unfortunately, we can't use cluster API because we don't have our own management cluster. But those both look promising options. And then the third part is we want to use GitOps for everything that runs in the cluster, like Prometheus, like Kepler. And Antonio's looking at that part about how we can automate the contents of the cluster. And then in parallel, we're also kind of working on the design of how we can design the pipeline. But in next week's meeting, we're going to go more into the design, and then hopefully we can start moving some of that forward into implementation. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that.
So this is a great project if you would like to contribute more technical work. There's a repository, there's code, scripting, pipelines.
We have a channel, WG Green Reviews, that you can join as well on Slack if you'd like to discuss this or see what we're working on. Feel free to ping us, and if you'd like to take ownership of anything in the pipeline, or if you have ideas, questions, we're happy to chat. And we do have meetings that alternate with the regular tag meeting. So next week, Wednesday at the same time as this meeting, we're gonna be meeting for the Green Reviews working group. And yeah, it would be great to see you there if this is of interest.
Right. Any
if we have the time, could you maybe also explain a little bit what the next steps will be in the future? So once you've set everything up, we have the cluster running, we know how to CI/CD stuff into the cluster. Do we have any kind of best practice guides, any kind of things set up moving forward?
This is all we're all learning and innovating in the open together. So there is no pipeline that we know of that does this. So we're all kind of learning in the open. The next step, once we have Falco running in the cluster in the infrastructure, we will have Kepler running as well. We're working on the tests as well. So the test is what we need to write out, and we want to get metrics on the idle energy consumption of Falco, and then scale the load on the demo workload that we're going to be using to test Falco with. So once we have that, we're going to be able to move on to the review process. Lori is helping to look into this. I think we're going to need help from the Green Software Foundation once we get to that point, and they're aware of the project, so we could get some of their expertise to see how we could incorporate the software carbon intensity specification as part of what we're looking at, but most likely we won't be able to get the all of the metrics for that. So we'll be able to get some insights on, you know, how much energy is consumed by what process, etc., and give some insights back to the maintainers based on that information. That's the main goal. And yeah, we would love to have your help with this as well. It's a work in progress. Marlo?
Great. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to say thank you for
Yeah.
answering the question.
Mhm.
Just real quick, I spoke a little bit with some Istio folks over at KubeCon, and they are interested in trying to measure networking, which Kepler is not the project, at least right now, to do that with. So once we get this up and running, we may need to be flexible in how we do our measurements regarding networking type workloads. And the best I've been able to find, and hopefully maybe someone has something better, is to measure at the IPMI interface, but we can discuss that later. But just keep in mind that there are networking projects that want to get measured. So yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
Exactly. So the idea is that with this infrastructure that we're setting up, we can have a playground to test different, you know, everything that we're discussing, things that are on the landscape, and tools that are being created by the Green Software Foundation, or different patterns around environmental sustainability in the cloud. So we are aware there are gaps, and we want to help fill those gaps through this project.
All right. So I asked that question because I was wondering whether we need perhaps another working group specifically targeted at finding best practices, finding benchmarks, finding standard solutions to tackle this kind of issues, so that you then in the reviews working group can actually focus on the review and don't have to come up with everything necessary for a review, right? And then the cooperation between the Green Software Foundation and us would be not entirely, but in a part be done by this, I don't know, standards working group, best practice kind of working group. I don't know the name, but I was just wondering what you think about that. When you gave your answer previously, it sounded to me a lot like that would be a good idea to kind of narrow down the focus and make the reviews working group actually work on reviews and not on everything else.
So I think the part about the working group green reviews is not about reviewing it itself something. It's maybe misleading in the naming of the group. For when you look in the charter, the first goal right now is really to bring up the technical implementation so that we have a reference implementation which you can utilize. But the working group is not just purely limited to it. There can be done more within the working group than that. Bringing up another working group, I think right now would be a little bit too much. So I guess it would be more helpful to just bring it into the scope of the Green Reviews work group and have on the one hand side the technical stream, and on the other hand side more a methodological stream.
I think right now this is also part of the scope. So, but this kind of can be, we could collect this a little bit later. There's like a discussion, but we can come to this in just a bit. Ideas how we can, like what we should focus on as a group until KubeCon Europe, because we have so many great ideas, but we have a limited capacity. So maybe this could be one of like the focuses of the working group also. But back to the working group green reviews. Are there more questions? I see there's a longer comment in chat.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's worth to mention. See if some of the people maybe join later. That like right now, the green reviews is focusing on the collaboration with Falco. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is like what our focus is on right now. So it would be the first, like to do and finish the first review for a single project, so that later we can extend it. So we get our first proof of concept, and then like we can incorporate all other suggestions and ideas from the other groups. But I would say it would be better to focus the effort of the team into one project that can succeed.
Yeah, totally. I get that. I was just wondering because when we mentioned the Green Software Foundation and our efforts, I immediately thought about the software carbon efficiency rating that they're working on right now, which it appears we are playing towards more or less a similar, if not the same goal with our reviews thingy. And I think that this is also something that we should work together with the foundation, with the Green Software Foundation on. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. And the Green Software Foundation not only has the software carbon efficiency rating thing going on, but also the patterns and practices. And if I'm not mistaken, they are handled by different working groups within the Green Software Foundation. But we are, of course, we're a different tag, we're a different foundation. We don't need to follow the structure of the Green Software Foundation just because we like them and we want to cooperate with them. So yeah.
Nikki?
The idea is definitely that the Green Software Foundation is leading the specification and standards around this. So that's not in the scope of this tag as much, but we are following some of what they put out as leading principles. Maybe we can look at the efficiency rating as well later on. Maybe we could add this in the design doc so that we don't lose context, and we can get to it later on potentially. Like if we can capture these ideas so we don't lose them, that would be the best.
Thank you. That actually means a lot to me. That actually means that these ideas are somewhat worth keeping.
I mean, also the collaboration with the Green Software Foundation, you can always like improve this, be more in touch, and so on. So I think that's good if you would like to play like more like a connecting role. I think that could also serve the working group very well.
I do believe so. I've been asking about this for a couple of weeks now, and the best answer I could get was just write comments in their issues and discussions on GitHub, which of course is a great strategy. I mean, we're doing the same within our tag, but I think for larger scale cooperation, where we like also like share work and like really exchange ideas, that is, I don't know if that's the best format.
All right. Antonio, you had your hand up. I'm not sure. Is there something?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, like, of course, the input is great. It's just that, like, the request from Falco has been more on some SRE metrics and like very specific to their needs. So right now we found it difficult to bound like GSF specification with the project needs. So it's not that your input is greatly appreciated, but it's also like what the requests we had from Falco are slightly more, I would say, like SRE, as I said, like technical, like they're asking for amounts of, so like statistics that you would finally BF about kernel rates and so on. So yeah, it's a bit tough to find these metrics that have been required with the GSF metrics. So this is something we might want to look in the future. That's
right. Maybe before we head like into the working group even more, because time-wise we have a few more topics to capture. Maybe we can continue this discussion in Slack or in the meeting. I think it's next week, right? Christina, you had your hand up. Would you like to say something?
That was in relation to the discussion, so I'm not sure if I can probably just add my comment to the chat to what Antonio commented. Otherwise, we may continue this discussion. So I'll let you continue, Leo, and then my comment to the chat instead.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So a lot of interesting discussions, very much in the works, everything at Green Reviews. Great time to get involved and contribute to the effort. All right, wrapping up the recurring topics and going to the open discussion items. As I said in the beginning, you can always add your own topics to the agenda. So these topics right now are very much discussion items from last week at KubeCon. So we had a lot of very good ideas and discussions and things to talk about. So I captured some of the ideas in issues. There's currently a retro issue open. I also sent the link in Slack somewhere. So if you joined KubeCon or you saw it virtually, or you have like any thoughts about the tag and how we can maybe change some things, I don't know, some ideas where we can focus on something major which we missed, or something at the conference itself, some ideas, please add those to the retro issue. I can find the link also in a second. And going to the first one, so we don't have like a ton of time, so, and some of these discussions can probably take like a long time. So I will see that we maybe just spend a maximum of 5 minutes or so for each of these issues. So everybody has like just time to see it. I think it's already open somewhere. Is it this one? Right. So one of the feedback, one of like the major topics we got as feedback is that we should make some changes to these meetings. So everybody who is new for the first time, this is basically how we always handle those meetings. Maybe there's like some things how we can improve to make more value, so that folks attending those meetings get even more value out of them. So for example, communicating maybe a day or 2 days before what we talk about. There was also feedback about splitting the meeting into 2 parts. The first part is more focused around learning something about cloud native sustainability, or having like an interesting discussion about standards or something in this field. And the other part is walking issues and kind of moving things forward in like an organization point of view, and so on. So this is like one of these discussions, and we tried to capture the feedback in this. So if you have like any insights, would be great if you could add your thoughts. We will probably make like some smaller adjustments. I think in general, I think these meetings are fine, but we can always improve. Are there any ideas around this? Any comments? Do you think the meetings, how we hosted, are great, or not?
My favorite part is still when we had demos. So I would like us to do a little more seeking out of demos.
Yeah. Maybe also like updates. So we already had like a demo from Scaphandra or Kepler, but they're working on this actively. So maybe also if they have new major release, could be also interesting to re-invite them. Doing some learning would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Marlo there. The more interaction and demos, it's a great learning forum, and it gets you interacting with each other as well.
Yeah, +1. I think like the organizational stuff, should minimize this, like a touch base, important discussions. We can do this over Zoom, but most of the stuff should, and it's already happening like async, and I think that's good. All right. Going to the next one. So this is idea feedback around how we can change the onboarding of new folks to the tag, so they just find their way into contributing to the tag, know how, like, which efforts are there, how can they get involved and make an impact to cloud native sustainability. So there were a few ideas. So in general, this is like a recurring topic, and I think we will have these discussions always in open source, how we can improve onboarding and getting people involved, getting better at writing the getting started guide, contributing document, and so on. But one idea, and I think this is like a common one, which you may also have like at your company or in different communities, is some sort of buddy program, where somebody who's new and very interested in the tag can buddy up with somebody who's already quite experienced. So in this, for me, it's always like very important if you have like some sort of mentee and mentor program, that both the mentee and mentor get something out of it. So it's not like a waste of time for either of them. So both of them have like a benefit, and like it's just like a working program. And we could establish something like this in the tag. This could help. Something lightweight, not like a lot of process around this. Basically, just you are new to the tag and you say you would like to buddy up, and then you have like one person and just to ask your questions and help you along the way. And then there are ideas, and I think Kara already mentioned this, to move the blog post, the getting started blog post, also to the contribution guide. So this is like a living document which can be used. And the onboarding meeting, which we plan to happen after every KubeCon, we can also do those every 2 months or so. So what are the thoughts about the buddy program? Is this something that could help? Maybe also a good question for everybody who's new.
Yeah, I think personally the buddy system, I could see it being really beneficial for me, considering that I'm very new. Just being able to talk one-on-one with someone, I think, is always very helpful. So, of course, if people have the bandwidth to do that, that's another consideration we have to make. But, I think overall it's a pretty good idea.
Sounds good.
I absolutely agree. A couple of weeks ago, before my vacation, we talked about this, that we need to improve this topic in general. And I think the ideas that you've mentioned are all worth trying out, especially the easy ones, like moving stuff like the contribution guide and the sub-team thingy on the 4th. I don't know how big of a deal that is, but it sounds to me like it's an easy and quick win. Regular meetings, I'm not so sure how popular they will be if there is nothing associated to them. Like, why should people know about this, or how should people know about this that are interested in starting? They need to find that information somewhere, so we need to make sure that we have a channel to advertise these meetings. But yeah, overall, great work. How can I help?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, as you know, so and I think this is also written down here. We plan to have in working group comms, one of the sub-team leads to focus on contributor engagement. So I think maybe after some time we will find someone who would like to work on this. This could also be very helpful. Right. About the buddy program, so it always depends on for the mentor and mentee how much time they would like to spend on this. So if you would like to spend more time, you get more out of the buddy program, for example, or in general also to contributions. If you have any more ideas how to improve this, feel free to comment below. I think, as I said, in the beginning, we can always improve onboarding and getting started things.
Do we note that people should go to this Cloud Native Slack anywhere? I know we do in the blog.
I mean,
but that's the best for async communication.
Yeah, it's mentioned on the blog, and it's also mentioned on our GitHub, the very first page on GitHub, the README.
Also on the website.
But maybe we also, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that that we discussed this, and this has come up over and over again, and we haven't found the best solution so far, apparently. Other things that we have discussed in the past, if I remember correctly, was making this more visible on the webpage, on the blog, on the GitHub page, and also introduce this with represent this more visually so that people see the structure in an image and can more easily grasp what we're doing and don't have to read lots and lots of text.
Would you like to just comment your observations below?
Yes, sure, I will do that. Yeah.
And if you like, you can also follow it up with a PR. But only, I mean, that would be great.
Of course.
We need support with this, so it would be great if you comment those ideas below.
I will definitely comment the ideas. I'm not sure whether I got around to actually creating a meaningful pull request, but yeah.
That's okay. Communicating the ideas already great, so we are aware. All right, any more comments about the onboarding part? Actually, one thing from my side, so we will have another special meeting focused around onboarding, just showing what the tag is about, showing all the projects and so on in 2 weeks. But I will send a meeting calendar notes after it's on the CNCF calendar. I believe it's the 29th of November. So after Thanksgiving. All right. The next major topic we talked about at KubeCon was the presence of the tag at KubeCon. So for example, there are also co-located events or sustainability or tracks, for example, or a lot of ideas. Wait, this is the wrong link. Let me see. Let me find the link quickly. This one. I think I created another one. But in general, what are all the ideas? How can the tag improve its presence at those conferences? And one of the Was it this one? No. It was probably the retro. I opened too many issues, so I'm a little bit lost. Anyways, so basically, right, we can comment this down here if you like. So if you been at KubeCon in Chicago, maybe you observed the presence of the tag. Maybe there's like some things we can improve. So for example, like a 0-day event, I think that's a great one. Or like I don't know, we had, for example, AI hubs, security hubs. Maybe we can have like a sustainability hub, something like this. So feel free to comment your observations. So for example, I think like informal get-togethers, we can also do those a lot more. We don't need to have everybody always together. We can also have just like a sync between 3 or 4. And I think there can be a lot of like very good ideas can come out of these informal discussions. Also, for example, maybe promote our meeting a little bit earlier, maybe 2 weeks in advance, so people can also arrive on time and can plan around those in-person meetings. So I think there's a room to improvement for us. One issue is the checklist. Maybe we can write a checklist so we don't miss out on obvious things. So we are just like more prepared as a team, as a group. +1 project booth at KubeCon Paris. Yeah.
Is it already too late for some of these ideas? Like I would assume it is too late to have a separate track or to have a co-located event.
It's too late
Am
for
I
a
right?
co-located event, yes.
Okay, how can we
deadline
make sure
early-
that we don't miss the deadline for next year?
Um,
Next year meaning 2025.
So the deadline for KubeCon NA is we still have time, and Alessandro, he's one of the CNCF ambassadors. Actually, we have like a couple of ambassadors here. He would like to take this on. I believe he has not opened an issue yet. I asked him to. So we sign up for a co-located event. I'm not sure if it's too late for a track. I believe like something like a sustainability hub. We could arrange this still. And I think there should be enough like content. If you look at how many talks, I think we had like over 10 talks this KubeCon, and I think even more in Amsterdam. So I think there's like enough content out there to actually group this up as a hub. So this could be great. But you're right. We should remind ourselves about those deadlines so we don't miss out. About the kiosk or like the mini booth at the venue, the meeting room, all those things. So that's a good point. So if you would like to help with this, so this is clearly non-technical work, but it's very important for us to get together and meet and talk about those things. If you like, this is also part of working with comms at the end. One of the sub-teams would be around event and in-person meetups and so on. All right. And then a discussion, but we can move this async. We don't need to do this in here. Also time-wise, it's about the landscape document. So you might have seen the landscape document on our website. So it's here on the landscape. There's a lot of information, but most of this is written like half a year ago. And I think, and we talked also about this in Chicago, we need to find ways to make this more alive. And so we maybe need to identify what is the value of this document. Maybe we can change the outline of this document so it can be used at more companies, more end users, and so on, and provide more value. And then I think we also need to drive more engagement. Jochen?
Oh, wow, okay, I didn't expect you to call me up so soon. I actually have ideas in my drawer to update this document. So to make it more valuable and to make it more user-friendly and to make it reach a broader audience. These I have collected over many meetups that I've went to in the past half a year. And since I am one of the co-authors of that landscape, I have been approached at these meetups with some feedback, and I think we can actually make it a lot better. I'm not sure. So I just noticed, and if you hadn't brought this topic up, I would have brought it up today. So should we just create a pull request for that, or should I just create a pull request for that, and then we?
So we have this
ahead,
issue, or it's actually a discussion. Feel free to add your thoughts here, and then we can make a pull request afterwards, if you like. We can link.
All right. Okay. Because I'm not so sure whether. Sometimes I feel like it's easier to see changes to understand them rather than to be explained changes that I'm proposing. But anyway, yeah. No, I can do both.
Okay, sounds good. Right. So, I mean, if you feel like the landscape document, how we handle this right now is fine, you can just comment in the discussion. I think it's fine. And we can keep it. We don't need to change something. Just from my observation and like the discussion I had, I think we need to change it also in terms of like ownership and so on, so people feel like more engaged with the document. This is why the discussion is right now, because maybe the approach you have in mind, Jochen, is very good, but right now I'm not sure. This is why we have a discussion about this. All right, let's move on.
That's what I was asking, like how fundamental do we want this change to be? Because the feedback that I've gathered and my ideas are related to improving what we already have rather than completely revamping that thing. So if we want to, I don't know, change everything about it, the way it works, like the way it is maintained, the way people engage with it, then we should probably discuss this a little further. Maybe not today, but in the GitHub discussion.
Let's move this to this discussion at the end. It's not about like changing the entire document. It's more like how we handle this document. So
yeah, and I've asked the Service Mesh people to get involved in this because I think we need a section there because we had that Linkerd blog post earlier, and then Istio said that they've reduced their footprint as well. So I think there's definitely sections that need to be added, and I'm happy to work with whoever in order to get that done.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm not attached to it, so that's the point of a living doc.
Yeah. All right, so we just have 2 minutes and 3 topics, so we need to make this very quick. So I think this one is very interesting for all of us. It's about planning what we all would like to work on until KubeCon EU. I think we can plan a little bit more. So because we have so many great ideas, but a little bit more like pulling together kind of would help that we actually achieve more at the end. So we have the working group green reviews and comms. So I think this is already as one body very good. But I think there's like more opportunities next to this, what we can do as a tag. So we have like more impact in the community and we have more to share maybe also at KubeCon. It's a very important issue. It's also like a time-wise very important issue. So I think this could help just pulling together. as a community. So if you have like any ideas, for example, if we already captured some of them, I mentioned, for example, Kubernetes sustainability white paper, something like this could be like a very interesting project. I think this could help. But at the end, it depends like how the feedback is from all of us. So I will try to push this in Slack for the next 2 weeks, so we can discuss this maybe in the upcoming meeting. So please just think about, okay, you're joining the tag, we can do anything. Just write down what this could be, and then we can discuss this at the next meeting and plan a roadmap for all of us. And then the next one, because we are already on time, but very quickly. So Christina, she's also today here, or still here. She is one of the working group Green Reviews chairs, but she would like to move in a different role because this better captures her contributions and better fits her style. I think this is a great change. Christina, you're like an awesome contributor to the tag, invaluable, to be honest. So it's great that you would like to move in the tag to a different role. I think this captures, your contributions very well. So I'm very happy to, or we are all very happy to propose that also to the TUC.
That was very sweet. I was not prepared for that. Thank you, Leo. I don't need to say anything, right? So I will not.
No. Because we're also on time and I'm time sensitive. So Malo, maybe just 2 words.
I'm very, very, very thankful that Christina has been here.
Yes. All right. Malo, would we like to move this to Slack or to next? Or
we can move to Slack, but Tag Security wants to show up and they want us to show up over there because there's a lot of things that we can talk about regarding infrastructure and how we do testing that we can talk about. And as for the end users group, we really should be speaking with them actively. So we do need to sort that out. We can talk next week or next meeting, but
sounds good.
That's a priority that should be a priority for us.
Yeah. Let's move this to Slack and next meeting. All right. Sorry, we are 2 minutes late or 3 minutes. I will stop the recording.